Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a really fascinating mystery. We are talking about a text that describes fully functional flying machines thousands of years before the Wright brothers ever took to the skies, and honestly, way before Leonardo da Vinci was even sketching his famous flying contraptions. Imagine just opening up an ancient manuscript and finding detailed technical blueprints for aviation. That's exactly what we're unpacking today, one of the most intriguing and fiercely debated pieces of ancient Indian literature out there.
So, this is the central question we're investigating. Did ancient India actually possess forgotten aviation technology? Across various ancient Indian epics, you'll frequently find descriptions of these extraordinary flying crafts called Vimanas. But we have to ask ourselves, were these just mythological chariots dreamed up by a highly imaginative civilization, or did they actually have some kind of forgotten technological knowledge? The whole debate really centers around one specific, highly controversial Sanskrit text.
Section 1. The Blueprint, inside the ancient manual.
You know, the word Vimana pops up in several ancient texts, and usually it just refers to these magical, divine aerial vehicles used by the gods. But the text we're looking at today, the Vaimanika Shastra, goes much further. It completely drops the magic angle and actually adopts the language of engineering. It describes different types of Vimanas, breaks down their specific construction, the engines, the required pilots, and literally even the equipment that was carried on board.
Now, Indian tradition attributes this incredibly complex aviation knowledge to a figure named Maharshi Bharadwaj. He's one of the revered Saptarshis, and he's remembered across numerous texts as a brilliant master of science, philosophy, astronomy, medicine, and engineering. So naturally, the Vaimanika Shastra is associated with his teachings. But here's where things get a little tricky. Scholars are in a fierce, ongoing debate about whether this physical text is actually an ancient manual passed down from Bharadwaj himself, or if it's just a much later compilation.
What's wild is that the blueprint reads exactly like an ancient metallurgical recipe. Forget your modern carbon fiber and titanium. This text specifically calls for copper, iron, silver, gold, and mica. It also lists several uniquely named alloys, and frankly, their exact modern identities are still a total mystery. According to the manuscript, these specific materials were chosen for their incredible strength, heat resistance, and durability, which, if you think about it, is exactly what you'd need to withstand the friction and stress of atmospheric flight.
And the text doesn't just stop at the physical materials. It dives into some really complex energy sources to power these Vimanas. We're talking solar power, harnessing magnetic fields, combustion-based fire energy, electrical forces, and even crystal-based energy concepts. It's wild. This leaves modern researchers endlessly debating, like, do these represent highly symbolic philosophical ideas? Are they just misunderstood ancient terminology? Or is this genuine speculative engineering from a totally bygone era?
The manual also details internal aircraft components that sound remarkably modern, things like dedicated control chambers, energy storage units, and complex stabilizing mechanisms. But the most astounding part has to be the flight capabilities it describes. Vertical movement, hovering right in place, rapid directional changes. To anyone reading this today, these advanced maneuvers sound exactly like a modern drone, which is exactly why this text has so completely captured the imagination of artists, engineers, and historians.
All right, Section 2. The reality check. What do historians say?
Let's lay out the timeline here to add some necessary context to the mystery. Now, while the Vedic age epics absolutely do reference divine aerial vehicles, most modern historians believe that the surviving physical manuscript of the Vaimanika Shastra was actually compiled much later, specifically in the early 20th century. But the real turning point in this whole story? That came in 1974. That's when modern science finally put these ancient blueprints to the ultimate test. A team of aerospace engineers from the prestigious Indian Institute of Science decided to thoroughly, mathematically analyze the aircraft designs described in the text.
So what happened? Well, there's a pretty stark contrast between the text's claims and modern science. On one hand, you have these claims of highly advanced flying machines utilizing magnetic and crystal energy to pull off incredible aerial feats. But on the other hand, you have the firm conclusions drawn by mainstream scholarship and modern aerospace engineers. Basically, when those engineers looked at the schematics, the rotating mechanisms, and the overall proportions, the physics simply did not add up.
The definitive scientific conclusion from that 1974 Indian Institute of Science study was incredibly blunt. They stated, and I quote, "The proposed designs would not be capable of sustained flight according to modern aerodynamics." So the crucial takeaway here is that while the text is undoubtedly imaginative and highly detailed, mainstream scholarship absolutely does not consider the Vaimanika Shastra to be physical evidence of ancient working aviation technology. The craft, exactly as described, just wouldn't fly.
Moving on to Section 3, Beyond Aviation, the Bigger Picture.
Now, regardless of where you personally stand on the Vimana debate, it's really vital to remember that ancient India unquestionably made remarkable, verifiable contributions to global science. Even if we put the flying machines aside, we're talking about groundbreaking advancements in Ayurveda and medicine, highly accurate astronomy, revolutionary mathematics, including the literal concept of zero, plus sophisticated metallurgy and incredibly advanced urban planning. Together, these verified achievements form one of humanity's absolute richest intellectual traditions.
To really understand the historical consensus, it helps to compare our debated aviation manual with another extraordinary, widely accepted Sanskrit work, the Natya Shastra. While the Vaimanika Shastra remains a text of totally uncertain origin and highly debated scientific validity, ancient India produced other manuals that are universally recognized as pure masterpieces. The Natya Shastra, which is attributed to Bharata Muni, is a foundational text that historians universally accept as a genuine ancient encyclopedia of the arts. The Natya Shastra essentially proves that India's ancient texts successfully recorded incredibly complex, enduring systems of knowledge. This text meticulously breaks down music, rhythm, emotional expression, acting, and stagecraft. And unlike the Vaimanika Shastra's flying machines, the technology of the Natya Shastra is actively alive today. Its profound influence still shapes classical arts across the globe. It serves as the absolute foundation for dance forms like Bharatanatyam, Kathak, and Odissi, as well as Carnatic and Hindustani classical music.
Ultimately, whether the Vaimanika Shastra is an early 20th century reconstruction, an exercise in symbolic imagination, or echoes of long-forgotten concepts, its greatest value might not actually lie in proving ancient aircraft existed. Instead, its real value is reminding us how civilizations actually grow. They grow by asking bold questions, by meticulously recording ideas, and by daring to imagine the impossible. The story of Indian civilization is already filled with genuine achievements that transformed the world. This text just adds another fascinating layer to that rich tapestry of thought.
The debate over the Vaimanika Shastra continues to inspire curiosity, art, and scientific inquiry all around the world. It really reminds us to keep exploring our shared human heritage with a healthy balance of wide-eyed curiosity and rigorous scientific evidence. So, I'm going to leave you with one final profound question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Did ancient India simply imagine flight, or is there a deeper truth waiting to be uncovered? What do you think?